All right, old school Texas Tech. Hope everyone is doing well. How are you doing, Jordan?
All good in the good old US of A, man.
All right, very good. Everything's going well in Ecuador. I'm still trying to, the only room left in my condo that I haven't completed is this office. And I'm also having a very hard time finding a razor in town. So, anyway, that's been a little bit complicated. But anyway, I don't think just kind of before we start our weekly predictions for the conference, and then we'll also later be talking about the game more specifically, but the Tech game more specifically. In my opinion, it couldn't have gone any better for Tech on Saturday. I mean, that was a really I don't know where it ranks in importance during the Joe McGuire era. I don't know if it's top three or four, but it's pretty high because Tech had just been so inconsistent. I think it was a really big win. I think we're gonna look back and be like, that was kind of a turning point. I mean, I realize it's not a power four program or whatever, but UNT, especially on offense, had a good team and we took care of business. What do you think?
Totally agree. It's nice to see us, beat somebody into the dirt. I mean, we
Yeah,
do whatever we wanted for the most part. It felt like that was some frustration building. So um,
yeah,
I definitely feel much better about. I know people can say whatever they want. Hey, it's North Texas, but hey, you know, to to see, like I said, what was it, a 45-point win? I mean, I'll take that all.
yeah. No, and they definitely have a good offense. All right, so for the season there have been 44 contests and included Big 12 teams either against non conference opponents or like that we had the weird non-conference game that was actually a Big 12 game. But talking about 44 games so far. Your record is 36-8, which is actually pretty good. My record is 39-5. I only
It's
got one on.
rigged.
What's that?
It's rigged.
Oh yeah. Okay. Okay. Um,
I demand a recount.
A recount. Okay. Well, you can go in and check it out and check my numbers, but I think that's what it is. Last week we only had one game that was different, and you picked Miami of Ohio, and I'm very happy for Cincinnati because they pulled off the Big 12 win. It's going to get a lot harder now. We have two teams in the Big 12 that have byes this week, Arizona and UCF. We have six games that are going to be played between conference opponents and two games where the Big 12 teams will be playing a non-conference opponent. So I'm going to let you go first. They're all on Saturday this week. So we'll start off. Don't get into too much detail because actually our game is the first one that's listed on this particular app I'm looking at. Arizona State at Texas Tech. Who are you going to pick?
I have not looked at the spread on this one. I have no idea what it is.
It's Tech's favored by three.
That is not surprising because I would have guessed that. So with us being at home, I'm going to take us as the victor there. What are we
All
averaging?
right.
500 yards a game right now.
We have over 500 yards a game, I believe, just in passing.
Okay, so it's like we're really the offense is really moving, and we're at home. So I'm
Yeah.
going to take.
Okay.
Plus, I'm
Okay.
biased as hell. We already know this stuff.
All right. We'll get into more. We'll have another video that we'll get more into that one. This one's actually really intriguing. Houston at Cincinnati.
Interesting. That is interesting. I still think Cincinnati's struggling. They did dispatch Miami, Ohio, but Miami of Ohio is 0-2. They're not exactly world beaters. I think Houston's going to win that one.
I am actually going to go Cincinnati. No, I'm sorry. We'll get to that in a second. My fault. I slipped on that one. I'm going to let you go all the way through. Okay, so Kansas at West Virginia,
Oh, that's interesting. Kansas has lost a couple of heartbreakers, dude. They've looked
and
pretty
then
good.
West Virginia lost last week too.
They did, huh?
Yeah.
I think that was one of the ones that I picked. for them to win. I think I did. I can't
We
remember.
both did. We both picked West Virginia.
Yeah, I'll be surprised if Pittsburgh is not on the schedule this week because they seem to be
They're
on it.
they're not. They're not.
That's a first. So Kansas, West Virginia. Where's that one being played at?
Morgantown.
I'm gonna go with West Virginia because I'm going with the home team. I feel like they're pretty even right now, so I'm gonna go home team on that one.
No, but I don't think anybody expected those two teams to start off 1-2. But
Yeah,
we'll see.
I
We'll see.
certainly not Kansas.
All right, so now we're talking. A lot of people actually thought Arizona State would be ranked coming into the game against us, but they're not. So now we're going to talk about our first Big 12 team that's ranked, and it is Arkansas State at Iowa State.
Gee, what a hard one.
What do you think?
I think we know Iowa State's gonna take care of business on this one.
Okay. Then definitely by far, in my opinion, I don't know that I'll get any disagreement with you. The game of the week in the Big 12, other than always the Texas Tech game is the most important game of the week for me in the Big 12. But nationally speaking, the game of the week in the Big 12 is Utah at Oklahoma State.
That's a good one. That might be one of the I'd say that's probably one of the best games of the weekend. I'm gonna go with Oklahoma State on this one.
Okay.
So I lost that quarterback he's in the Alan Bowman plan, which means those guys are combined for like 16 years of college, and he's hurt yet again. I think he stepped on a paper towel or something and hurt himself because that's what always
Man,
happens.
man, you're like, you should start like an Alan Bowman fan club or something, you know?
And
All right.
they've been really good at home, so I'm taking Oklahoma State in that one.
Okay. This one actually is a fascinating game in my opinion. TCU at SMU.
No, that's interesting. I saw TCU. I saw the end of the TCU UCF game, and they lost with like I think 30 seconds left to UCF.
Right. Devastating, devastating for them.
Poor TCU fans, huh? My
Yeah, and then you've got
my heart
and then you've
breaks
got
for
then you've got Sonny Dykes going back to Dallas, he coaching at SMU. Right.
this is as much of a toss up as I have seen. I am going to. This is I'm struggling with this one a little bit right now. SMU, I've watched them. They're actually looking a little bit better than you probably would think that they are at this point. Even though I think they've lost a couple of games. Are they 2-1 or 1-2?
They are 2-1 and their loss was to I believe was to BYU, I'm pretty sure. And
Was
BYU's looking pretty strong right now.
they are looking pretty strong. I'm going to go ahead and take. I'm going to say that TCU is going to win this one.
Okay. There's another interesting one. All these matchups are pretty interesting. Baylor at Colorado.
That is interesting. I don't think Baylor. Oh, I think Baylor is okay, but I don't think Colorado is all it's cracked up to be right now. They've got about three receivers and a decent quarterback, but I think that's about all they've got. I think the defense is a liability, although they played a little bit better on Saturday against Colorado State. Where's that one being played at?
In Boulder, so altitude would be a factor too.
Since it's in Boulder, I'll go with Colorado on that one.
Okay. Then the last game of the week, Kansas State at BYU.
Oh, interesting. This is a better lineup than I anticipated.
Yeah, this is a lot. This is by far the toughest week to predict.
I'm going Kansas State on this one because I think they're the class of the Big 12 right now.
I agree with you. Yeah, although if Oklahoma State takes care of Utah, then I think we clearly have the two favorites at that point because Arizona lost last week too. All right, so Arizona, Texas Tech. I'm also going to take Tech. I think that's going to be an incredibly good football game, but we'll talk more about that in a second. I failed to keep my mouth shut and spilled the beans on this one earlier. I think Cincinnati will beat Houston. Um, who did you pick in West Virginia versus Kansas again?
I took West Virginia in that one.
Yeah, I'm going to go West Virginia too. And I think Kansas playing their home games at Arrowhead Stadium. I think that's really thrown them off. Yeah, and this and also imagine being the loser of this game and dropping to 1-4. That's gonna be rough. So I'm gonna go I'm gonna go I'm gonna go West Virginia on that one. Definitely Iowa State over Arkansas State. I'm gonna agree with you. I think Gundy will figure out a way to beat Utah at home. Those are the two, I believe those are the two longest standing coaches that have had the same job in college football. I think they both had that job, those job was it Kyle Whittingham
It's Kyle Whittingham.
and
He's been there for he was an assistant under Urban Meyer, and Urban Meyer was there like 20 years ago. So yeah, I think that's
yeah,
accurate.
I think Whittingham actually got the job like 2 days before Gundy, but they basically been at each school for big almost exactly the same time. I am gonna take a shot here, and I admit I'm not a TCU fan. I'm also not an SMU fan at all either. I'm gonna take a shot and gonna it's would just be a minor I think it would be a minor upset. I'm actually going to take SMU to beat TCU in Dallas. So we got a little separation there. Um, I'm going to take Colorado to beat Baylor and Boulder. But if Colorado does not beat Baylor and Boulder, that's going to be a problem because Colorado has to go to Orlando and play Central Florida next week, and Orlando and Central Florida is going to be coming off a bye week. So they really, really need to. Colorado really needs to beat Baylor, and then I'm going to go. Even though I'm very impressed with the way BYU started the season, I'm going to go with Kansas State. So how many games did we have different? We had I picked SMU different. What other was there another one?
Yeah, you picked two different. I think you did.
Oh, Cincinnati. I took Cincinnati over Houston. All right.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
all right, very good. So we'll be back next week. I'll keep track of the records. I'll also put it in the YouTube post. If you guys could please help us out and subscribe, like, comment. It doesn't matter if you want to make a negative comment. That's fine. Go for it. And we'll see you next week. Anything else you want to add?
No, decent slate of games this weekend though. It's better than I
Yeah,
anticipated.
very good. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. I wish the tech game was at night, but we'll talk about that more in another video. All right. See you guys soon.